guys, welcome back to the Riff channel. My name's Josh. We got Cameron and Ethan here today, our special guest.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, these are going to be super casual conversations. We got a couple questions for Ethan, and me and Cameron are just going to kind of add on. So before we get onto this, let's talk about you, Ethan. How are you? How you doing?
Yo, I'm doing pretty good. I'm still quarantined. Well, not really quarantined, but just like staying safe at home. The booster shots haven't really rolled out for people younger than 18. So I'm still taking precautions for my younger siblings. But otherwise, I'm thriving. I'm surviving. Just going with school right now. I'm technically like third year university. We're about to transition back online. So, I'm kind of anxious, but excited for that. But, I'm just thankful and, happy to be here on this podcast of yours, The Rift. We were talking about it for some time now. Yeah. And, it's just super exciting to like actually see it and, actually be in it right now.
For sure.
So, yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course, man. I've known Ethan for 4 years now. It's been a pretty strong friendship, I'd say. A lot of deep conversations, a lot of mentorship from Ethan's side. And, so it's really great to have you on, Ethan. So we got a couple questions for you, and these are just going to be like conversation guiders. We want to just make this as natural as possible. So, how do you feel about your life right now? I know it's kind of deep, but this question is really just a segue into what we're going to talk about later. So how do you feel?
I still perceive myself as, still a young individual. Like I'm about to hit my 20s, starting this year. But I still feel like I have lots of life in me. But honestly, how I feel about my life right now, it's a good question. I feel like it's in one word, I think like unexplored. It's just. You think coming out of high school and even first few years in university, you think you have a plan. You think you have kind of like your roadmap for the rest of life, kind of like figured out, or at least you have like an idea, like with the help of parents, whatever influences you have in your life. But it's that's not always the case, like my idea is, like for the rest, my plan for the rest of my life, just, study as hard as I can, go through uni, kind of like the traditional way, trying to learn as much as I can. But, like I have that passion for entrepreneurship, just trying to, make something, like leave a legacy behind, kind of like what you're trying to do with, this Rift podcast. You want to make like an impact somewhere, or at least like leave your mark. So like how I feel about my life right now, I feel like I'm just getting started. There's all that anxiousness about, what the future beholds and stuff. But, it just comes with it. I'm both anxious and super stoked to see what's in store for me.
And I like that because you're saying like the whole 18 thing. Turning 18 is supposed to be a huge milestone. You're going to university or you're starting to lead your life. And people always kind of think like that's when you get to start like actually living your life. You start becoming an adult. And I think it's really interesting that you say like it's almost the exact same feelings. Right, same anxiousness, same need for exploration, right? And I think Cameron, I met Cameron a couple of months ago, in September during one of my presentations at a school, and Cameron actually mentioned the very similar things. And for me, it's really interesting when I talk to people of different ages, and they're mentioning that they're all feeling the exact same way. They have a direction of life right now, a plan that they want to go through with, or they don't, and it's just progressing. And they don't really know where they fit into that kind of plan of theirs. So it's really interesting. Like, Cam, did you want to add on or something? Because I know that's how you were feeling a lot before. But yeah.
It's bringing flashbacks. I'm continuously planning for my future. And then I feel like right now, all I need to do is get into a good university. Like, that's it. That's
Right.
the end of the road for me. But then now you're talking about how, like, in university, you still feel like you haven't explored enough.
Right.
And in high school, I feel like I'm missing out on everything. Like, I'm not doing enough.
What do you
I'm
mean by
not
that? What do you
involved-
mean by that? Like, explain that more.
Like, which part?
Like, missing out on what exactly?
Well, everyone seems to have all these experiences under their belt or have, like, all these things that they can talk about and relate to. While I'm here, I'm like, well, I'm just worrying about my homework and my next project.
Right. Right.
Right? I feel like I don't have enough to get into university or to be able to actually say that I lived as a teenager.
And I feel like that's exactly how Ethan feels right now. He feels like he doesn't have enough under his belt to become an adult, to become an individual on his own. Right? Is that kind of how that? Yeah. Right.
Yeah, that's you explained it like perfectly. You know, like I feel like, you know, just life is just filled with uncertainty and stuff. You know, you're always gonna have these what if thoughts in the back of your head,
For sure.
right? But honestly, I feel like, you know, there's no like concrete way to prepare for yourself. You know, you just have to bite the bullet sometimes. You just have to like experience life for yourself. And, you know, as you're put into whatever circumstances, whatever situations, you know, you're kind of like hardened and you become more experienced and experiencing those experiences.
And Cameron, like, don't be afraid of missing out. That's a big thing that I learned, because I can say I came from a pretty sheltered home, and I still am pretty sheltered. I can 100% agree with that. And a lot of my life, I was like wondering why. I had FOMO, right? I was always wondering, why am I missing out on some of these things that everyone else is doing? But your experiences are never going to be the exact same as anyone else in the world, right? No matter how hard you try, no matter what you want to do. And even though right now, like, I'm sure a lot of people are missing out on their uni years and their high school years and their adult lives and stuff like that. But the more you focus on what you're missing out on, you're going to completely overlook what you have right now. It's like, I'm sure you look at me like someone who has so many things to talk about and look at and all that, and all those things. But in reality, my life is very simple, right? I live a very simple life, and I think it's all about pursuing things that are bigger than just what you see. And I think that you're longing, even Ethan, you guys are longing for something bigger than what you have right now. And that's something I agree with. I feel that as well. But I think you're being kept in that place because you need to accept something and learn something, right? Like I was telling Ethan, like, I was processing this podcast for weeks and months, right? Trying to really make sure I get it down right. And even now, it won't be perfect. I know. And I was even questioning if I wanted to do this in the first place, because I was just like, there was always like an obstacle, always something there, always something giving me doubts. But I think what got me further was accepting that no matter what happens, there's going to be an obstacle there, right? So do I want to look behind me and see what's happened in the past, or do I want to move forward and see what I can do with where I am right now? Because I'm like you two, I'm in my house, right? I'm chilling and I'm doing my homework and I'm looking for a better future while like COVID is, killing the world, right? But I still don't feel like I'm missing out on anything, right? I know that's a little bit of a very deep segue, but I think like having you guys here as a co-host and a guest, these conversations are meant to open your eyes to bigger things, right? I'm no genius, I'm no guru, but I feel like I'm really content and happy with my life right now. And that's something I want to share. So do you guys often feel like that, like the pursuit of more sometimes makes you feel like you're not doing enough? Do you guys often feel like that?
Yeah.
Is that exactly it?
Yeah.
And I think,
Well,
but that's not like, again, like this is going to lead into the other questions. Like, what are you guys happy? Would you say you're really happy with where you are right now? In this moment, are you happy?
Yeah, surely. I mean, I'm super grateful for, where I stand, the people around me. I'm happy to have people like Josh, I kind of, before he told me about the rift, and how this is what it's called now. This is what my project's called now. I got super sick, but then also I was kind of dealing with things on the side, and I kind of went kind of AWOL off the grid. But I had someone like Josh, he just keeps reaching out to me, keeps bugging me, and I'm even though you can always aspire for more, or you can always look at someone else's life and like, oh, they have so many stuff. I'm pretty thankful for the small things, people that are willing to bug me, people that want to bug me to make sure that I'm well, and that I'm okay, I'm happy, right? So yeah, I'm pretty happy with my life, Josh.
That's really good to hear. And what about you, Cam? It's okay to be honest. Like if you are 70% happy and you're 30% like you want to pursue more, that's okay. Like there's no pressure to be happy right now. That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah.
I would definitely say that I am pretty happy with my life. Like if I were to talk to my younger self, like they would be completely amazed at where I'm at right now, and like the things that I strive to accomplish. But again, at this moment, like my present self, I still want more. I still feel like I could do more and that I could accomplish more things. Wait, I'd never be happy, but I know that I'm working towards something that like I've always dreamed of doing, or I've always wanted to accomplish for myself, and that makes me happy.
And people call that like that process, the journey of finding yourself. Do you guys? What do you guys feel about that statement? And where do you see yourself within that realm of the word itself, the concept itself? Finding yourself. Do you think you guys found yourself, or do you think you're pursuing a greater thing?
I mean, I guess that pursuit of self-discovery, I think that's like a lifelong journey.
Right.
When I think about it, I mean, to be honest, like the first time, like this has really been brought up in a conversation for me.
Right.
But yeah, like when I think about finding yourself, it's just I feel like you like. Sorry, it's a really
it's a deep question.
It's a really
deep
topic, but hey, let's see if I can. This is the best I can word it right now. Just off the top of my head, but it's just you can. I feel like it's easy to get to know other people, but it's actually harder than it looks to get to know yourself.
For sure.
And I think that's what really the whole like discovering yourself is. It's just actually getting to know you, like what you like, what you dislike, what do you actually scared, like what do you fear the most, what do you love the most? I think it's like that's my idea of the self-discovery, the finding yourself topic conversation.
Right.
You just worded that off the top of your head.
yeah.
I'm jealous.
That's the best I can do.
Those words.
It happens. Like sometimes when you really feel something, it just comes off, right? And Cam, do you feel like you can relate to that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's something like I don't think I've found myself, and that to me that's really exciting. I think there's like so much more for me to live for, and every single I was talking about this in the last episode too. Every single day of my life, I live it as if I'm going to die tomorrow. Right. And that doesn't mean I'm doing the craziest stuff every single day. Like, no, I'm not living out my dreams per se, but I'm so happy with how I do things and why I do things. Right. And like, I often see, like, I think Cameron's kind of has a mindset that I had in the past where I would see everyone else living their lives. Even during COVID, people were like, breaking the rules technically and, going to see people and all that stuff. And that for me, I was like wondering why I was put in a situation where I couldn't do that. I constantly felt like I was being left out and I was just questioning the world. Why was that happening? And the biggest thing I found was that sometimes you're not ready for those things as much as you want them. Right. And you can wish as much as you want for those things and you can, pray and try your best to get them. But if you're not ready, you're not ready. Right. And like Ethan said, finding yourself, I think at least you can't progress in your life until you find out what you want to do, what makes you happy, and how you want to live. And I'm saying that because you are living for yourself, right? That's how it should be. You should be living for yourself in the sense where you live to make sure you're healthy and happy so that you can offer the same thing to other people, right? So when I was feeling that the same way you did, what I looked at was, how can I make sure I'm happy enough to make sure everyone else around me is happy too? And obviously that's like something that most people are like, when you're working on yourself, you should be more selfish. But for me, that really worked. That really got me motivated, because it's so much easier to help other people than to help you, right? It's always the same thing, right? So for both of you, when you're in those moments where you don't know what's next, put yourself in a position where you kind of give yourself a pat on the back for what you've done and what you're doing right now, right? Because even being here today, this episode is going to go out to hopefully a lot of people. And you guys sharing your experiences is going to offer so much inspiration and so much relativism. Excuse my pronunciation. And people are going to be like moved by that. They're going to have someone who they can connect to, and they're going to see your growth on this channel. And they're going to hear about your growth in the future, and they're going to be inspired to do more. Right. So when you're really looking at what you're feeling, and questioning what's next, or questioning why am I not doing enough, focus on what you're doing right now. Right? I think that's I know I went off on a little bit of a tangent, but I think that's really strong in terms of helping you build what you want to see in your life. Because you're going to 100% do the things you want to do, 100%. I can tell both of you are really driven people, right? But it's all about really making sure you got your own back too. You're not just running out there with an open chest, and waiting for a bunch of arrows to hit you, right? You're going in with a shield, right? That's kind of how I see it. And this kind of leads into the next question. Like, do you guys think that overthinking about your past and thinking too much about your future kind of affects how you guys think in that way? Like, kind of affects your perception on your own self?
Or can you clarify perception of your own self?
Yeah. Do you find yourself overthinking about the past and over analyzing the future to the point where you kind of lose track of where you are right now?
You come up with the best questions.
Because these are real. I want you to really feel these. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. It's like a genuine conversation, and these aren't just you actually have to initiate these conversations, right? It's not something that usually just comes up out of the blue, right? But about what you're asking, I mean, yeah, in all honesty, there's some nights, there's even some days, in fact, where I dread over, I don't know, maybe some past regrets, or I spend lots of time, just trying to map out what the future, what my future will look like.
Right.
But I feel, I'm not the type to, cry over spilt milk. Right. What has happened has happened. There's not really nothing you can do about the past,
Yeah.
But in that sense, the past has defined you. That your past, filled with whatever regrets or whatever accomplishments, it's what made you who you are today. So, I'm kind of thankful for, in regards to, just overthinking about the past, that's how I deal with that. But in terms of the future, I think that having a good idea of what your future will look like will be very, extremely beneficial. But, I don't let that define me, because, I don't, even though, like I said, the past is important because, it teaches you lessons, and the future is important because, you don't want to be completely unprepared. I feel like it's still extremely important to, kind of live in the moment and stuff, right? Kind of like Ferris Bueller said, right? What did he say? He said, if you don't stop and take a moment and look around, you might miss something, right? And that's kind of my 2 cents on the topic. I hope I didn't go too off.
No, that's perfect. Because that connects to everything.
Mark.
That connects exactly to what we were talking about before, right? If you worry too much about what happened or what's going to happen, you're not going to really see what's happening right now. I don't know if you guys have seen Kung Fu Panda. There's a famous line, Master Oogway says, I don't know it off the top of my head, but he says that the present is called the present because it's meant to be a gift, right? And if you focus so much on, when you're going to get the gift or how you're going to get the gift in the future, you're not going to appreciate it when it's there. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a it's an amazing scene. For anyone who hasn't watched Kung Fu Panda, go watch Kung Fu Panda because it's like the best.
No, I memorized it. It's yesterday's history, tomorrow's a mystery gift. That's why it's called the present.
Yeah, exactly. See, I butchered that, but that's exactly what it sounds like. That's beautiful. Yeah, perfect. Yeah. And Cam, do you feel like that, like Ethan's explanation of his own thoughts kind of helped you go through your own?
I look at everything in a very pessimistic point of view.
Right.
So for me, it's more so I use the past to kind of reflect on who I am in the present because those things make me who I am. So it's kind of similar in that. But in the present, I kind of built myself. I don't know if that's the right word. Or I kind of am very aware of what I want in the future.
Right.
So I do all those things now in the present to get me where I want to be in the future.
Right.
Right? If I want to go to a certain university, I will make sure that I have all those things that I can put on that application now.
Right.
So I start thinking, or I make myself who I am in the present to fit my future self.
And what happens, this is for both of you, by the way, what happens when those things that you planned out don't go the way that you hoped? What then?
Sorry, go ahead. I spoke a lot already. No, go ahead. I didn't want to, sorry, I kind of lagged out. Go ahead. Insist.
Thank you. I start planning some more, like it's continuously planning.
See, in that case, your goals or your future like milestones, they only mean 5 seconds of your life in that case. Because once you realize it's not going to happen, you give up on it. In the sense where you're like, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, finish it up.
I mean, I think so much about my future that I forget to live in the present. But I have nothing else to say.
Yeah, like now that you think about it, do you see how you just kind of like roll over everything in your life? So like even if you do experience the things that you want to experience, there's always going to be something else that you want to do. And because of that, you'll never really appreciate what you have right now. Do you see where that kind of comes into fruition? Yeah? Yeah.
But I know this, and I can never change it because there's always something bigger to think about and something bigger that I want.
I wouldn't say never because I'm the same way. I have a lot of big things that I want to go after, right? And when I used to be like the person when it didn't go my way, I was super pissed. Like I would be like really upset. And I would just question the world, like why did it not go that way? Because I planned it perfectly. I did everything exactly how I should have, right? But sometimes like it's not meant to work out in that way. And when you hyper focus on anything, you're kind of going to lose the value of what it actually means. That's what I think. So I think that you can change that mindset. You can change it because I have. You can. Right? There's no matter what you think, there's always going to be something bigger in your life. Always going to be something coming up next. But if you're letting that dictate how you feel rather than how you want to live, you're not going to enjoy what life's really about. Right? Life's not about like having crazy experiences and becoming popular or whatever. It's not about those external things. It's about being within yourself and accepting that, I'm just playing with the soccer ball, but I'm so happy. Right? If the world, like I said, if the world were to end today, would you say that you're happy?
For those small moments.
For those small moments, would you say you're happy? Be honest.
Maybe.
It's okay. How do you define happiness?
How do you grow to love those small moments when all you've been doing in your life is thinking about those big moments?
It's because the world makes you focus on those big moments. That's what I think. Right? The world is so focused on the big milestones, the big everything, that most people lose track of what the small things are. But the big things are made up of small things. Right? You can't have a tower without many levels adding up. And the more you focus on the large scale of things, you'll miss the little butterfly that landed on the building. right? And the way you shift that perspective is you kind of think about you first. So like, what if you die before you get to those big things? Then what? Everything you're doing right now is a waste of time. Would you agree with that? If you die, God forbid, but if something were to happen to you today where you wouldn't be able to do those big things, how would you feel? Devastated, right? Yeah, devastated. But life goes on. Like, I know that's a really like an easy way to look over it, but life goes on. And you know, my mom used to tell me when I was growing up, like I used to get bullied because I was just like such an arrogant kid, right? I was super like arrogant. And I always asked my mom, like, why does the world hate me? Like, why am I doing something wrong? And for the longest time, it was like, my mom's like, you're not doing anything wrong except for the fact that you expect other people and other things to be in service of you, for you. But nothing in this life is for you. That's how I see it, right? Everything just exists, and it's your decision to go pursue it, your decision to go accept it, your decision to nurture it. So if you feel like you want to grow to like the small things, then you got to wake up in the morning and say, you know, today's going to be a great day, right? You stay off your phone for an hour, then you go to school, and you just look at like the class, notice the pictures and the windows and the birds. You notice, like, just pay attention to little things for a second, even for 10 minutes a day. Look at something that you never focused on yesterday. And I guarantee you'll find beauty in everything around you, everything. Right? And again, that's another tangent. And I know we're getting a little bit off track with Ethan's side because I know you wanted to add something. But I think it's really important that everybody, anyone listening too, that if you feel like your life is going nowhere and you feel like you're lost and you don't know like how to find yourself, look inside. Your body will tell you how you're feeling. And if you can't figure that out, like obviously therapy is a great option for sure. If you have the opportunity to go to therapy, take it. But if not, really just reflect on why you're alive, why you're living, what you're living for, and what makes you happy. And if that means, going to university is going to make you happy, question it. Why? If going to that party or going to, that soccer game is going to make you happy, ask yourself why. And really look into it. Right? So, Ethan, did you want to add on to that? I'm sorry if I went on my own thing.
Like, just as you said, right? It's just, it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
It got me thinking too, right? I don't even think I remember what I was going to say, but yeah, no, it's good. It's good.
And I think guys on the channel, I'm going to do this a lot because I love saying like things that are on my mind because I want to hear feedback too because I'm not perfect, but I want to pursue perfection, maybe, right? I want to aim as high as I can so I can hit a pretty big target of my own. Oh, it went dark. This happened last time too. So I guess I'll kind of move into another question we had for you, Ethan. And Cam, you're welcome to answer as well. When you find yourself in those situations where you're overthinking about the future and the past, what do you do to get your minds off of it? What's the first thing you do when you have those thoughts?
Like it's just so, like you're just so deep in those thoughts as in, like you just don't know what to do or something.
Like how do you get out of it? How do you personally get out of it?
I mean, I've learned to not keep it to myself, right? If I have concerns, if I have these concerns of, why did I do that back then? Or what am I gonna do about this in the future?
Right.
Right. And like I think about it first, but if I'm not really going anywhere and I feel like I'm just losing sleep, losing time over it, I like bringing it up to, I like, once again, I have those people that, I'm comfortable having those conversations with.
Right.
Right. I mean, what ends up happening was probably something along the lines of, okay, if it's in the past,
leave it behind.
Yeah. Like okay, you've learned from it now, but really what can you do now? Like, right? What are your next steps? What are the options available? What actions can you take in terms of the future? Right. That's like if there's something coming coming up, right? It's, the question is, exactly like what can you do, right? I mean, you can only control
So much.
like yourself right now in the present,
Mm-hmm.
right? You can control yourself in the past, redo anything. You can't really control yourself in the future, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can just kind of prepare for it, right? So I guess that's the main thing, just trying to see what you can do now, right? Like right then and there. Sorry,
No, that's fine.
it's not easy to put those into words because, usually like it's like hour-long conversations, but I just feel like, if you can't work that out yourself, it's easier to work it out with someone else,
For sure.
right? Especially if they're the same age as you, because they're most likely going through the same thing,
Right.
Especially if it's a friend, right? Like you usually you share like common, I don't know, like traits, or like like you share common like
You're
thoughts or
compatible,
concerns,
right?
like close friends,
Yeah.
right? So it's really easy to have these conversations with these close friends, right? Like,
Right.
oh, concerned about this? No way, you're concerned about this too. Like, yo, what are we gonna do, right? But I mean, yeah. I guess that's my answer for, if anyone has those same like anxieties, just okay, like the past happened, okay, the future's coming up, right? But just focus, don't lose like sleep, don't lose time over what you can do now, right? Because right now you're in control,
Right. And this is kind of like an addition to that question. Do you guys ever feel like you're running out of time? Do you ever feel like you're on a time crunch, like a deadline, and you need to get somewhere fast?
I mean, it depends on the goals you've set for yourself, right?
Right.
Like, I mean, growing up, I kind of had the idea that, by 28 is like the ideal age to, finally settle down and, I don't know, like start a family, or, that's when kind of like everything, you're well grounded by 28. Right? Once again, I'm turning 20, right, this year. So what's that, about like 8 years to go? I know, like, if you think about it like that, it's like, okay, I might be losing time, right? I might be running out of time. But I mean, honestly, it's not, even though 28 is kind of like generally it's like a good time to, finally be settled in and stuff, right? I mean, times are changing, it's not, you're never going to follow kind of like the general route of things, right? The traditional way of things. So, if I'm not settled by 28, I'll be looking to settle by 38, right? If not by 38, by 48, right? But I mean, yeah, man, it's not gonna go according to plan. But yeah, that's basically what I have to say, man. Like, depends how you look at it. You're right. Like you said, you can die tomorrow, right? Sorry, going everywhere, but yeah, that's the best way.
I get that, and that's like exactly what. Whenever I ask those questions, people are always like, "Wait, what?" Because everyone always feels like, "Yeah, time is going, and you're running out of time." Yeah, but like something I wanted to add, because both of you said that you are happy right now in this moment, correct? And if you spoke to yourself 5 years in the past, 10 years in the past, are you where you wanted to be at that age? So when you were at that age and you were thinking where you want to be at this age, are you there? Would you guys think that you are at that milestone where you set for yourself so long ago? I know it's hard to remember, but yeah. When you pictured yourself at your age right now, are you guys where you wanted to be? Be honest.
Generally, I mean, yeah, in essence, yeah. I mean, I think I've kind of like realized the realistic goals I set for myself, right? I got into the university that not only I wanted, but kind of like my parents had hoped that I get into, the best,
right.
the best one in my area,
right?
Or yeah, but that's kind of like a common goal for students, just get through the door, and then get through the door as in the best university that's available,
right.
And then you'll kind of like figure it out from there. So I mean, yeah, looking 5 years back, if I've accomplished my goal, I think I have, but now it's about setting this next goal for myself. Where do I go from here now that I'm through the door, right?
I like that. What about you, Cameron?
I think, yeah, the same. I would be completely proud of where I am right now because I've grown so much, and I kind of give credit to that through all the experiences I've had.
Mm-hmm. So based on what you guys are both saying, now I have the question is, why do you let where you are like right now bother you so much? If you are happy and if your past self would be happy to be where you are, why do you like kind of hurt yourself in that way by like putting that thing on yourself that you're not where you want to be? Like you're always striving for the future, but what about how you feel right now and how you want where you want it to be? And let me clarify that because that was kind of like a tangent thing. But 5 years ago, you made a decision that you want to be here today, and you made it. But now you're saying, you're not happy as you could be because you're not experiencing these things, and you're missing out on some things. But then you say that you made it. So kind of put that into perspective. Like what do you actually feel right now? Are you really truly happy, or are you under kind of an illusion based on what's currently going on? It's a deep question, I know, but I'm really interested in hearing it. That's why I asked.
I say it's like an illusion where I'm happy where I am right now.
Right.
But I feel like it's not enough for my future self to be happy.
Right.
No?
But would you say you're valuing everything you have right now? Or are you...
Yeah.
Good. That's good. That's exactly what I want to hear.
There's still there's still more that I could do where I could be better at what I'm doing right now.
Right.
There's always something where I'm not happy about, but I still know I've achieved a lot, and that where I am right now, I'm completely grateful. But it's continuously giving myself like that constructive criticism where I can do better at this, and that's kind of
It's kind of like it's not that I'm unhappy, but there's the best way I can explain it. I'm happy I'm happy for all the things I've accomplished. I'm happy with the fact that I've at this point where I am in my life, I was able to get here on my own with the help of the friends, family, right? Mm-hmm. But just building off what she said. Building off what she said, at least I think I have a lot of time left. Now that I've accomplished what I wanted to accomplish 5 years ago, with the time that I have left, I kind of want to accomplish more. And in that sense, it's not that because I haven't accomplished, these new goals that I've set for myself. It's not that I'm unhappy, but I feel like I can be more happy. And that do you
it's like a building block thing. You want to add on to it, right? That's good. Mm-hmm. It's really good. And that kind of goes into like we're on our second last question here. But like after this conversation, after everything we've talked about, what's one thing you're going to change about the way you live right now or how you think right now for the future? Like one thing you're going to change about how you see the world and yourself after this combo. If it's nothing, that's fine. I just want to hear about what you're thinking.
I think I'm going to be take a bit more risks and live a bit more, experience a bit more, because I've heard that saying a lot. What if you die tomorrow? What if you die in a week? Right?
But I'm saying you don't have to go do some crazy stuff. That's not what that means.
No, I know. I'm not gonna go like
skiing or snowboarding. Like it's not that big.
Yeah, I'm not gonna jump out of a plane.
Yeah, it's not that deep. I'm saying like if you're happy every single day, like for me, if I were to die tomorrow, I wouldn't be upset that I'd be obviously you'd be like, oh, I wish I could do more. Like I had so many things ahead of me, but I lived a good life, and I had fun for most of my life. Was fun in some way, even on the bad days, I had fun and I laughed and I was happy, right? And for me, I don't want to live a day. That's how how I lead my life. I don't want to live a day of my life where I'm sad for the entirety of the day, or I let myself get down for a week. I don't want to live like that, right? I want to live in a very, just like, even like walking my dog every day, or, you know, playing an instrument, listening to music. That stuff brings my life to life, if that makes sense. So like, yeah. So in terms of taking risks, like, yeah, 100% take risks. Calculated risks are usually the best. But in terms of, we lost camera for a second. But I'm not trying to encourage people to do some crazy stuff. That's not what I'm here for, viewers. By the way,
surely.
Yeah, I want you guys to live the way you want to live, and make sure it's like for a good purpose, so that you're not only being fulfilling like for yourself, but other people too. Because that's what the world really needs right now. We need people to come together and be more positive, especially in such a dark time right now, right? All of the world's changing and you know, COVID's here and all these bad things are happening, but we have, as people, we have the power to change all that. It just takes one decision and then many more after that, right? One person, if every single person decides to pick up the trash today, we'd probably be able to clean up the planet pretty quickly, right? Like, it's just like, that's how I was kind of framing it. So you can go ahead. Sorry. I just want to make sure, like, you're not going to, like, you know, do something crazy and get hurt.
No.
Yeah.
But buy risks and, like, live a little. I mean, take more risks is kind of, like, pretty dramatic, but I meant, like, I don't know, meet that group of friends. Meet that group of friends that you didn't want to you weren't really open to meeting before, like meeting those new people,
right.
You know? I mean, joining in on those, like, last minute plans. Right. I don't know, like, maybe go, like, restaurant hopping, you know, just trying to, like, explore your city, right. You know? Like every inch of your city, you know, just that's what I mean by live a little more. You know?
I get it. And Cameron, what about you? Do you think that what's one thing you're going to take away from just having this combo?
Living in the present a lot more. Like,
for sure.
Staying out and so much. I know that's where I live most of the time.
Mm-hmm. And even if that means, like, just going on a walk once a day, that can change your life, right? Because I get it. I haven't left my house in a while, right? And even, like, if I used to, like, in the summer, when the summer hits, I go for runs every day, and that changes my mood completely, right? So it's really good that I'm really glad that you guys got that out of this combo. For me, I got from talking to you guys, I realized how important maintaining my perspective is for me, right? Because as soon as something bad happens, because I'm very fortunate that not too many bad things have happened in my life, but I hope that in the next obstacle that I hit, because even this channel, building this up was, like, very scary for me, right? But keeping the optimistic outlook and really just seeing and listening to what everyone else has to say and do, like, that has changed everything about my life. And I hope to do the same thing for you guys and for everyone watching. And I hope that you guys, like, as in Ethan and Cameron, can return that to the viewers as well, because it's beyond, like, anything. And this kind of leads to the last question we have today. So this is for you, Ethan, that you can add on to, Cam. What is one piece of advice or any words that you believe, like, you'd want the viewers and listeners to have before we head off? Like, what do you want to leave the world with right now? A message or just, like, a statement or a reminder? It's a tough one, I know, but I think it's really important.
I mean, in high school, I was in a position where, you know, I was asked that question, actually, you know, like, oh, wow, you're kind of like the oldest grade. You're in the position that, you know, this position that you have, like, can you?
Yeah, you can mention that. You can mention that, yeah.
No, it was just like a student council position, right? But you know, I was fortunate enough to have some people look up to me, and, you know, I'd be approached with that question, you know, like, it's a piece of advice you can leave for me.
I've asked you that question.
Yeah. I'm in grade 9. I'm still figuring things out. What can you bestow upon me? Like, can you enlighten me in that sense? And I think the best thing I can tell people listening, you guys is I'm pretty sure I told Josh this before, but even though it's important to not spend too much time like regretting over what has happened in the past, and spend too much time worrying about what the future beholds, right? We kind of like what we got from this conversation, it's important to live in the moment. But when you live in the moment, like whether a test is like an exam's coming up, or you're just going through a super rough patch with people, or just a rough patch in general, right? You feel like you're in the middle of a storm, right? You feel like whatever is happening right now, whatever happens after this moment will forever decide what my future is going to look like. My life will either be ruined if I fail this test, or I'll be set for life. After I don't know, maybe I'll land this job or whatever. But you have to remember that it's pretty scary in the eye of the storm, but it's important to know that after it clears up, you'll be looking back at it, and it seem a little less significant than it really was, right? That's the best thing I can say. It's once the storm clears, you'll even if you fail that test, even if you didn't land that job, you'll still emerge stronger than ever. As long as you're alive, you can keep going. My life will either be ruined if I fail this test, or I'll be set for life. After I don't know, maybe I'll land this job or whatever. But you have to remember that it's pretty scary in the eye of the storm, but it's important to know that after it clears up, you'll be looking back at it, and it seem a little less significant than it really was, right? That's the best thing I can say. It's once the storm clears, you'll even if you fail the test, even if you didn't land that job, you'll still emerge stronger than ever. As long as you're alive, you can keep going. I think that's the best thing I can say. Hope it's not too cheesy.
No, that's perfect. And I really appreciate you saying that, because I hope that this is going to change a lot of people's lives and perspectives. That's the foundation of this whole thing. So you're saying those things from your heart. It's very evident that it's from like a deep place, and that's going to change a lot of people's lives. Cameron, did you have anything to add? No?
His advice made me reconsider a lot of things.
Mm-hmm. Totally get it. And again, that's probably the best message that I hope you guys can all, like anyone going through a hard time right now, you hear these words that we're saying, and you really take them in, because they're not just being said for the sake of, conversation. These are meant to really, for those days where you have no one to talk to, those days where, you're going through something and you don't want to tell anyone. And I always say this to everyone, like if there's people out there in the world who I don't know, or who don't like me for whatever reason, or who, aren't acquainted with me due to whatever reasons, this is my opportunity to offer you guys something bigger, right? For me and my companions as well, to share something that goes beyond just one conversation. So I hope that all the viewers watching, you guys take anything from this conversation, hopefully positive. Please take positives, right? And share it and cherish it in your own lives. And I guarantee you, well, I can't really guarantee you, but I hope that you guys all find happiness within yourselves as well. Right. So I think we're gonna end it off there. Thank you again for Ethan. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
And Cameron, that was some great points you made. I really appreciate that. And guys, again, we have a Spotify set up. We got an Anchor for the podcasts. We got an Instagram, TikTok. All those things are going to be in the down below in the comment section for the YouTube, and for the Instagram, it'll be in the bio and stuff like that. And subscribe. Obviously, I'm new to this. This is going to be how it's going to be. I'm going to be awkward. I'm going to say weird things. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we're going to be back next week with another guest, so stay tuned for that. And we'll see you guys later. Anything you guys want to say before we head off?
I mean, I'm excited to be on this journey. This is the start. I mean, if this is the first episode, or the first podcast that you're gonna start the channel off with, I'm just, or even if it's not, right, I'm just happy that you extended this invitation, to be a part of this.
Of course.
I really believe in you, man.
Of course.
What you have going on,
and we hope to somehow.
Great,
Thank you. We hope to someday get you in the future. Like when you get to those milestones, those goals, we're gonna have you on again. All right.
100%.
Awesome. All right. I hope you guys all have a great week. This has been Ethan. This has been Josh. This has been Cam. And we'll see you next week on the Rift Podcast.